I'm gonna have to cut so much of this. Gonna be a little silly. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I guess I really am. Hello everyone, welcome. Hope everyone's having a good one. Okay, so I'm recording this earlier than I usually do. Usually record these on Saturdays, so I can at least look at the weekly sneak peek or whatever. I opted not to, cause, well, I don't know. I feel like it's settling in, just like the reality of all of the situation. I guess that's making it feel a little dramatic. Also, I've changed my outfit yet again a little bit. Actually, just the core armor. And now I'm rocking a P4. A random P4, because, let's be real, I'm not ever gonna find any of those attachments. That is the reality that we have to accept. Now, I haven't actually checked out the Raylan. I gotta be honest, I don't care to. And I really don't need the Tyilui. I don't know how it's pronounced. I didn't watch the behind the ships video because I don't care. To be frank with you, we'll pull it out, sure. So, well, okay. So I can't. Okay, so I liked the Star Citizen Live with Benoit. It was good. Excuse me. I liked it. Like, you know, I think there are some things that I am a bit concerned about, such as, let's see. They mentioned the, there was a crafting, there wasn't really an exploit, and it is kind of concerning to me a little bit, because Jared was like, oh, the crafting exploit, and it's, no, it's not an exploit, it was, they put numbers in wrong, or they didn't realize the whole situation with some numbers. And that's not an exploit, that's Jumptown. An exploit is when you break the game, or use a bug. And like, I don't know, what is a bug? Technically, maybe putting a number in wrong could be counted as a bug. But, like, in that sort of situation, it's not really a bug as much as it is poor planning, I think. And, sorry, like, okay, for one thing, to step back, like, all this talk about tech stuff, I don't know, it doesn't feel right to be like, oh man, look at how good the numbers are doing, look at how great everything is. And it doesn't feel like that. I don't have a better way to describe it, because it is genuinely like, nah, that's kind of it. Oh, this is just kind of bust. Okay, cool. And why am I pulling out the Tyilui? I think I don't know, that's how I'm pronouncing it. Genuinely no reason other than I have access to it, and I'm probably not going to use it after this. Or the Raylan. The Raylan isn't bad. There is like some... Well, we can get to this ship. But, yeah. I mean, there are technical problems, and like they kind of addressed it. So basically, like the problems with the 6012 error... Oh, hey, there are no servers for you. That is an issue with... There was an asset in the game, the Idris specifically, but it could be any asset. There was an asset that it was trying to call, like, it was trying to call up a version. I can't remember how they worded it because it did sound weird, but like they were trying to pull up like Idris dot, 4.8.1, and they needed to pull up Idris 4.8.2 or something like that. And when the server, and when somebody pulled out an Idris, and it was trying to pull out the wrong thing, the server freaked the hell out and shut down. That, like, okay, I can understand that from, a mechanical standpoint. It's a bit silly, but somehow, like, there was a fix that changed, like, the name, or changed, like, the asset, and that asset wasn't actually added in, or something. And, like, somehow it missed validation. They want to do like, machine validation, which is going to be using AI, which is, like, the proper use of AI for just giant data management things. Okay, cool, whatever. Then they mentioned the thing about crafting, where you could disassemble items and sell... You could disassemble items and sell the materials for more than the weapon, more than you bought the weapon for. And I, like... I feel like maybe I didn't understand. I didn't understand maybe exactly what the economy team did, because it sounds like the economy team decided how much the price of the items was, and then, like, a gameplay feature team decided how many resources it would take to build an item. And, like, honestly, at that point, and they didn't, like, communicate and try and, like, make those numbers make sense. Like, I mean, I think I could explain it a pretty simple way of, like, well, I don't know. It's a pretty simple thing, I think, of, you buy a weapon for 20k, it uses 3 resources, and if you were to dismantle 100% of them, they would be 15k, but because you're only, dismantling and getting like 90 or 60 or whatever percent, you're getting less than that. But then, if you buy those resources, you can buy them and then sell them, maybe for 18k or something. And then you can sell the resources for like 12k or something like that. Or like I don't know, that... Like, it's more complicated than that. It's a lot of numbers. It's a lot of, we have to figure out, you can't just make each item 5,000 credits necessarily, because you want to have like a rare item, or like a rare commodity, a common commodity, and all that jazz. And there's a lot of ways to play that, and frankly, it feels like shouldn't, well, for one thing, I mean, it shouldn't be a thing of, like, throwing numbers at a board, which kind of, I don't know. The way I've described it seems like the most logical way to do it. Maybe, and again, I don't fully know, like, what the hell they were thinking, what happened, but it just seems... I don't know how they would have gotten to that. And the big situation I have with it is that it sounds like with crafting, one thing that changed was you no longer get 90% or 60% of resource 1, 2, and 3. You just get resource 1 and maybe 2 of 3. Or 1 of 2, or 2 of 3. You don't get all the resources back. Which is bullshit. And it is, like, fucking up crafting to the point where I was super excited about crafting, and this is like, I'm not gonna touch crafting at all. Because I don't want to do mining, because I don't want to be a miner. I don't really enjoy that gameplay loop. I'm not gonna buy, something at exorbitant prices on UEX. And, maybe I would buy things at exorbitant prices if they were in-game and I didn't have to manage or, play the whole, using a third-party tool and trying to organize a meet or whatever, because that's fucking crazy. So, like, yeah, I don't know. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the, not really a huge fan of all the content we've gotten. I'm just like, one of the things that, Jared, to be honest, Jared repeats himself a lot these days. It's like, oh man, look at all this great content we have. And it's like, well, for one thing, well, yeah, no. And it's like, okay, look, Hathor, I'm not gonna say Hathor's bad, I'm not saying Stormbreaker's bad, I'm not saying TSG's bad, but I just don't want to do it. I guess, sure, you've got, like, salvage missions, and you've gotten, mining updates. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it is just me. Maybe I'm not gonna say I'm the problem. As much as I could just not be enjoying it, and it could just be a fundamental difference thing, but, and I just have to accept that this game I've, spent hundreds of dollars on is, going in a direction I don't know and I don't understand. Especially because they say one thing and then, like, they said their whole crafting plan, and now, like, that crafting change, in my mind, is a fundamental fucking change to the whole crafting scheme. And, like, I don't know, and I don't want to be overly dramatic, but it is. This is, like, the idea of what I wanted to do with crafting is I can't do it anymore. It's literally fucking impossible to just loot items off of enemies and then make basic equipment and sell it at a lower price. Because now I have to, eventually, I'm gonna have to go and collect some resources in order to craft literally anything. And, like, why? I don't understand why they made the change. Was it because of that bug? Or that, like, oh, we fucked up the numbers? Because here's also another thing. As far as I can tell, they never officially said that this was a change anywhere. I think it happened in 4.8. I could be wrong, and if anybody knows where they said they made the changes to dismantling, please point me to them, because I didn't see anything. But yeah. I don't know. So, right now, like, it's hard to give a shit, because the game is in the state it is, and, like, we got Benoit, and I think the technical side of things is in good hands, I would say. It's always a rough state. It's never perfect, but honestly, oh my fucking god. What even happened? Where was that guy?
I've got you covered. Shit. Can't find him anymore. Stay here. Someone got knocked. They got we're getting hit. Holy shit. Injury. They just killed him. Oh, I'm wounded.
It is genuinely, though, there are some design questions that I genuinely don't understand. And the main problem I want to get at is that there was, like, basically no communication about that crafting change. I don't understand why they decided, they have not given a reason, as far as I am aware, to why they made that change. Frankly, like, super heavy armor, they had a thing, they mentioned it before, in a Star Citizen Live. I still don't know what exactly it's supposed to be doing. Like, I think, if I remember correctly, it's like, oh hey, we want to make all armors be meaningful and not just have heavy armor. Anyway, so we're going to make heavy armor 2.0, basically. Is how I remember that conversation going. They didn't say heavy armor 2.0. They absolutely did not say that, but that's kind of my assumption. Or basically, we're going to have armor that actually has trade-offs, as opposed to, nah. Found a corpse. Looking for the perpetrator now. What was I gonna say? So I mean, I have heard that there is a content creator who I presume will now not really be that much of a content creator, who's going to CIG to work as a content manager for CIG, Ollie43. I started watching one video and I was like, I mean, he seems like a cool guy. But it was like a review of the Raylin, and I was like, I don't need to watch this. I know what the Raylin looks like. It's okay. But honestly, I mean, like, genuinely, the thing that I've been wanting from CIG forever is just more content, more meaningful content. Behind the ships is not behind the ships, it's not behind the scenes, it is very much in front of, it is all it is an advertisement for a ship with developer commentary, lighthearted, usually, which is, I guess, nice, but I don't fucking care. I want more things like Star Citizen Live. I want more things like the old Inside Star Citizen. I mean, if I could have a Star Citizen Live with either a rotating, like, oh, it's going to be like this developer, it's going to be like this lead who can, have some meaningful, like, oh, hey, here's what's going on. And then some Inside Star Citizens, even if it was every other week, where it was talking about, where you were talking about, like, oh, hey, here's the thing that's going on, and back the way it was in 2020, where it was like, hey, here's a look at some environments we're working on, here's some, here's a look at an animation zoo for this particular feature, or feature zoo, or whatever. And, like, stuff that's actually fucking, you know, showing the process of game development instead of like somewhat talking about it and just that. I don't know, and I've been saying that for so long because it just really like is genuinely or has genuinely been like a major portion of my enjoyment of Star Citizen, and not having it is sad. And there is also the point where, so like, this 18 months has had so much content. It's like, has it? Because of all the things I'm doing, of all the things I could be doing, I feel like the thing I want to be doing right now is bunkers, and bunkers fucking suck. Like, I don't want to go to Onyx because it's too involved. Because that's just a bit too involved. I don't want to go to Hathor because it's just a bit too involved for one person. I would do remote asteroid bases in Pyro, but they exclusively never have any fucking loot. They stopped spawning, and when they were like, oh hey, we're going to talk about these bugs that are messing with a lot of people, they didn't mention loot not spawning. And by the fucking way, those new goddamn attachments that I actually was really excited to go and loot, like, as far as I can tell, like, they're just nowhere to be found anymore. They just don't exist. Like, I was able to get one in, like, the first day or the first 2 days of 4.8, and then in you know, a Pyro asteroid base, and then the loot broke, and I never saw a single loot box ever again. I was like, what the fuck is up with that? Bunkers have, like, for a year or whatever, had shit loot that's just like, why even bother? And it's like, yeah. And it's like, I'm not asking for much, I just want something. And I frankly want garbage. Like, I picked up whatever, like, jacket was there, because I'm like, whatever, that's kind of neat. Excuse me. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. I'm kind of curious. Because the Raylin and the Tyilui is a pretty big ship. Oh, also, you know, I have to wonder, speaking of the Tyilui, Gata, so, and I have to read I need to read the lore again. Gatak is a Xion manufacturer. Xion manufacturers have this whole thing where you have a house, they are the manufacturer, and they are, one house is given, like, this one job. Where, like, Apoa makes military ships, Gatak makes industrial ships. The Tyilui has been explicitly advertised as a combat ship. Now, there's a few things... Now, this obviously has a problem, but, like, there's a few things there, right? Now, for one thing, also, I assume... This is an assumption. All of this is the lore assumptions. I assume that there's, let's say, 100 Gatak industrial ship maker houses, and Apoa is the only one that can make... They are the only ones who can make... Oh, jeez. They are the only ones who can make... Oh, God. They are the only ones who can make... whatchamacallit? Industrial... sorry. Gatak is the only ones who can make, industrial ships, but all the other, potentially, the other houses can also, sorry, oh god. Let's go with what I was originally going to say. Apoa is the only one who can make military ships, but all the other houses have the industrial capacity, and they like are basically just getting subcontracted. And every 100 years or whatever, like the Xi'an hold a competition to be like, oh hey, here's your let's see who gets to put their name on our ships, right? So, you know, potentially... Oh my god. Why? Look, this is not the right ship. Oh fucking Christ, come on. Sorry. So subcontracting thing. So possibly Gattac is like has a deal with Apoa, or maybe Gattac is like the Tyilui is a thing that can only be made in human space, and exclusively for the sale of for sale in the UEE. It cannot be sold to Xi'an or something. Maybe it is just a scandalous thing. Or maybe they go and rewrite how Xi'an stuff works. But I 100%, not for a second do I think that the ship team went to the narrative team, knowing what I know now with that whole crafting resource situation. Oh my god. Jesus. Knowing what I know now about that crafting situation, I cannot imagine that the crafting team was, you know, like, oh hey, we want to do this variant, would this make sense? And, you know, like, how can we make this make sense? Because I think, genuinely, if they did go to the narrative team, the narrative team would be like, okay, let's figure out how to make this work. Which, I'm glad that it worked. I don't think that it having a potential problem with the lore is bad. It just needs to have a lore explanation. Are you shitting me? Okay. Sorry, what was I gonna say? Yeah. Because I think, like, same thing with Nyx, like, 1. Because I think somebody was like, oh, we're gonna make Nyx 1, we're gonna turn Nyx 1 into a habitable world. And they didn't talk to... Because I think the narrative team would have been like, oh, so the old lore, basically we set things up for... Like, we set up everything in the old lore. Nyx 2, literally everything that is going to happen to Nyx 1 could have happened to Nyx 2. It was already set up. So, like, unless they want to do it 2 times over... for some reason. Like, they very genuinely, easily could have just made it Nyx 2, and it technically probably would have had less problems. You know? So, like... And it's just a thing, well, they said this, so now, like, people gotta roll with it, and it's like, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem like a good way to run a creative project. So, I don't know. And that doesn't seem like a thing machine learning can necessarily, or machine validation is, you know, going to be great at fixing. That seems like these teams have to communicate with each other. And, like, sometimes you're gonna run into issues where, oh, well, I didn't realize this was gonna be a problem. But, like, you know, changing a location so that it's this, should probably talk to the narrative team. And I don't know. Genuinely, it could be a situation where the narrative team is, like... In Nyx 1 is still irks me, because they had this story for Nyx 2, and I don't see any reason why that particular... Because, like, it's a smog planet, they're, like, basically impossible to terraform, but there are places that are doing research on how to terraform smog planets. So, player intervention, you can have, potentially, people figure out how to, terraform... People figure out how to terraform smog planets. Cool. And now, like, that lore technically still exists. But now this mysterious company has come out of nowhere and is able to terraform coreless worlds, which is even more batshit insane. Which, I mean, you know, granted, that is also could be a completely fun and interesting story in and of itself. I'm not saying it couldn't be. But, you know, it's just like, you had this set up, so why... Like, are they just throwing it away? I don't know. They're not gonna fucking say that. They're definitely not gonna say that for a while. Anyway, well, I didn't want to be super negative. But I guess that's just how it be. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say there are a few things that happened with the roadmap update. We're getting the bullpup rifle, and we're getting an update to Ninetales, and we're getting new hairstyles, which actually the like low ponytail one is actually something I might want to change my character to having. Which is a very small thing. The bullpup, it said that it is a compact battle rifle. It's the CQ7, so I'm guessing that it's between the P4 and the P8. But it's probably going to be... If I had to guess based off of that, I would assume that it is semi-auto only, maybe has 20 rounds, a little bit less recoil, better handling, slower reload speed because it's a bullpup. That's what I would assume. That is just an assumption. The Ninetales are getting refreshed. That's also cool. They are. I've been saying that they've truly embraced being weebs, and I think that's... I don't know. I guess otaku more. I mean, that's like... The samurai helmets is a thing. Is a pretty, you know, strong aesthetic choice there. So CQ7, much as I hate to say it, I'll probably buy a stupid fucking pack. If they sell it by itself, I probably will buy it. Depends on what's in the pack. If it's a ship I might actually want, then, you know, that's definitely something. If it's an armor I like, then okay. And I feel obligated to, well, I would always love more weapons, so. I know that obviously there's the instancing, and there's the Javorison. I don't know, I'm just expecting it to be broken, expecting it to be hectic, and it'll probably, like, it probably won't be too crazy. I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking. That did not feel right. Sorry. I'm definitely thinking and not just completely derping out here. No, I don't know, I'm not excited for 4.9. I mean, like, the CQ7 will be cool. Oh, we actually did get soft death. Okay. Wait, actually... No. Oh, we got distorted. Oh my god. Fucking coolers. What? Fuck off! Turn them on! I don't even know what is... I'm not a combat pilot, for one thing. Oh, I don't have any power to weapons? That's fine. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not really excited for 4.9. Like... Bunkers are still gonna suck. Asteroid bases aren't gonna get their loot fixed. Because why would I... Honestly, I have no expectation of that happening. It's gonna happen randomly, and I won't know about it until it happens. I mean, the biggest thing I have to look forward to is maybe in a couple weeks when the stupid Return of Xenothreat comes and I can do an event and get some blueprints. And I can see if any ship combat is of interest to me at that point, I guess, or something. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not super excited about things, and I just don't really see them actually getting any better. At least as far as I am concerned. And I know, like, my experience is not everybody's experience, and I don't want to pretend like it is either, but yeah. And I'm sure that there are some changes that I'm like, this is actual garbage, this is destroying the game, and somebody's going to say, I love this. And... well, I have no idea. Maybe I'm a complete idiot. Maybe they're a complete idiot. Maybe we're both right in our own ways. Maybe we're both totally justified in our opinions because they are subjective and opinions. Or maybe the internet should just explode at both of us at the same time. I don't know. That's probably how these things work. I don't know. I've also probably, speaking of sharing opinions with the internet, I probably share most opinions with the Tyilui, with the Tyilui. I really don't care. We need a Xion snub. Even if it's a combat snub, why is this thing a snub carrier that has no Xion snubs? Also, it should have industrial snubs, even if they're not Xion. I do like the look. And Well, I don't know. I would love to see a Xi'an interior for like a base, for like an outpost, for my house. Um, a larger ship. I mean, a larger ship would look cool. I'm not gonna say it wouldn't, but I don't really care that much. Would I get the Tyilui? I don't think so. I do really like the hangar. Um, I do really like the hangar. It could be a little bit better implemented. Maybe like having um the walkway be like a complete circle, because it has these weird jumps at the angles, at the corners. Um, Having the whole zero G thing, it is a cool idea. It is definitely a cool idea. Um, but yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing that exists, and I, at some point, don't know how much. Now, well, I would say if they had a human version of this, would I buy it? In game, yeah. I guess that's the Ironclad. I don't know what the numbers are off the top of my head. I think the Ironclad's. I don't know. You can compare it, but you can also compare an Aurora to a Javelin, I guess. But no, I think they're fairly similar. Let's not pretend like they. I mean, they love the idea of snub carriers now. I don't hate the idea, but I mean, for the same reason that I have absolutely zero interest at all in TSG, like a snub carrier would be great if I could hook up with some randos and do some missions, but I can't do that very reliably without social tools, and it's just one of those things. I do think also when watching that Star Citizen Live, I was like, okay, so all their problems are growing pains, right? I was like, yeah, no, this is obviously growing pains before Jared said it. And I don't know, because I think, again, the thing is that, like, they were like, hey, we're going to do this whole thing with tech previews. We're going to do a constant, like, live build that is going to have, the content and regular content updates. And then whenever it's read, and then we're going to, on a separate tech preview, we're going to test, the new features. And then when it's ready, not based off of any timeline, we're going to insert it into the game. And I guess they kind of did actually do that with engineering, I guess, in all fairness. I want to pick up some radars because I'm fucking tired of stupid power allocation. But while I'm just floating around here, let's take a look at that hangar. And I'm stuck in my seat. Okay. Such a slow animation. God damn. So yeah. Ooh, look at this. It is a cool aesthetic. That tractor beam's kind of worthless though. I don't think it pops out, but it seems like it really should. So maybe I just didn't see the button for it. I don't know. Anyway. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so tech previews would be a fun thing to do, and they didn't absolutely have that idea, and then I guess use it once, and then never use it again. You know, that'd be silly to say. That'd be silly to assume. But yeah. And I think there's probably a million other things that I could, like, I don't pay too much attention to salvage, I don't pay attention too much to mining, because those just aren't my gameplay loops. I genuinely have to assume there are some design decisions that they've done that, like, I don't want to do mining. Like, before the 4.7 changes, I was like, oh, I could see myself doing mining. I'm like, I don't want to do this. But I think it's also because I just want to do crafting. And I think trying to be a crafter who's exclusively looking for high-quality materials, I think is just not a healthy way to go about that. God, I really would love to do these videos shorter, but oh well. Yeah, so trying to think if there is anything else. I really am hoping that we get a letter from the chairman for $1 billion raised, because I think we really ought, like, we, the backers, reached this milestone. Maybe we should, at least get some acknowledgement of it. And, a $1 billion reward could be fun. And it doesn't have to be like some super epic awesome thing, but I think just something fun, not something stupid like hanger flare or, a collectible mug, something interesting, but I don't know. Anyway, so I stream Star Citizen on Sundays and Wednesdays at twitch.tv/Rylu, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Link is in description. And, yeah, until next time, have a good day, great day even. Chaskies.